Welcome to the demonstration for Assignment 2. This will serve as a way for you to kind of, in a video format, follow along with the code example that I gave at the bottom of the Assignment 2 description. Okay? So let's get right into it. The first thing that you may notice is that here in the store constructor is we are no longer asking for how many items our store can hold, such as this. So from now on, we want to be able to have as many items as possible, so we can just keep adding more items. So we want a dynamic structure. You can still do this through an array, although it may be better to do it through an array list. Okay. Anyway, most everything else should look very much the same in terms of how the constructor looks, but there are some changes inside of the customer and the club customer class as described in the assignment 2 description. So one thing that you'll note here is, okay, I'm going to get a compiler error. If I were to try to compile this code, okay, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a compiler error, and the reason why is that I cannot add a customer that is just a customer to my store to keep track of. The only customers that our store is going to keep track of are people who have signed up to become club customers. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that a customer can't use our store, and as we're going to see down here, a normal customer will still be able to use our store and get products, but a club customer is a special thing that our store is going to keep track of. Okay. Now, if we comment out this line and we compile, our code compiles. Now that doesn't mean that there's no errors in our code, and as we'll see in just a moment, there are some runtime errors that we're going to encounter. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and set this breakpoint here so that as we debug through this, you'll see what happens kind of line by line what's going on. Okay, so first line that gets executed is a store gets created. All right, great, we have a store. All right, its name is MeGrowth, and it has a website, and everybody's happy. All right. Created a customer, and we created a club customer. Okay, so we each had these two customers' name and some other things. That was the way I implemented this. Now, when we go to add our customer, our club customer, to our store, what's going to happen is inside of our store F here, we have a customer set, right? And notice that we have a club customer in there now. That's the club customer that we added to our store. Okay, and notice that the club customer that's been added to the store is the same as the club customer that we created up above. Its address 304 here, 304 here. It's the same, so they point to the same object. Okay, should not be a surprise to anyone. All right. Now, just like before, we're going to create our products, our food product, our clothing product. We're going to add those products to our store. So notice here, you should see some products added to our store. Okay. All right. Something that you should be able to understand and notice is that while this line gave us a compiler error because it was a customer and not a club customer, I was able to put all three types, product, food product, and clothing product, using the same method here. That should tell you something about the way that I implemented this method. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go on. Now, when I go to use the getCount method, what getCount is going to tell me is how many products have been added to my store. How many total products are there in my store? All right, so that method should say what? We have added, what, 3 products? So we should display 3. Good. That's what we expect. All right. Now, here I'm going to explain this one here a little bit. This getProduct method is going to go into my store, and it's going to try to find a product with this name. Now, you notice that this name and this name are not the same, but I'm assuming you have searched for products on a website like a Hefty or Get to Give You or many times, and you know that doesn't matter if this is a capital S or a lowercase s, it should always find it, right? So we want to be able to do that. So if I search for this and it finds this, I want it to return this product, okay? So what happens when I go to return this product? It gives me this product back. So what I should get from this get product method is I should get this return. Now, this is a clothing product object, and you should know that when we go to call the print line method with an object, it calls a specific method inside of that class. All right, so when we go to do that, I should display product shoes has 28 remaining. Yep, that's right. We have 28. Okay. Now, when I go to purchase something, I'm going to purchase these shoes. Now, this and this are the same thing, right? So I'm going to purchase 2 of my shoes. So let's see, CP, pull that down. So when I go to purchase 2 of them, remember, if you look at the description of the purchase method, what it does is it takes 2 of these for my customer to have, and it returns the total price, right? So it's going to return the price of 2 shoes, or 2 pairs of shoes. So this is my price for 1, which means that the return value of this method should be 89 times 2, which would be 178, I believe. Yep, there it is. So I printed the return value. I printed 178, and notice here, now I have 2 shoes less than I did before. So now instead of 28, I have 26. Okay, so it does both. It reduces the number we have in inventory. It also returns the total price. Okay, now I want to add to the inventory, right? Now notice here, I'm going to get product computer. Well, what's my product computer? And it also points to here. So I'm going to just pull this down to quickly look at this. And I should add 3 to this product computer that exists in my store. Now remember, this product inside of the store and this product fee both point to the same thing. So when I add 3 to this, using this, I should get that. Now, this would have been the same thing had I done that. Okay, those should have resulted in the same result. Okay, but that's not what we did. We did this one. All right. Now we're getting to our first exception, and I want to tell you why. Right. So we are going to try to purchase food, Snickers. We're going to try to get 200 of them. We really, really like Snickers, apparently, but there's only 100 remaining. So when I try to purchase 200 of them, I am going to get an exception, a invalid purchase exception. I requested 200, but there were only 100 remaining. Okay? All right. So let's start over. Let's clear out this breakpoint, and let's put it here instead. And let's comment out our exception line. We're going to compile, to run. Up to that point, so everything up to that point is what you've already seen. So let's move on. So now our customer is going to add 2 of P. What was P? Computers. Okay, so they're going to add 2 computers to their cart. How many computers do I have? I have 23 computers. Right? So I'm going to add 2. So they take 2 of their computers. Right? Okay. Now, you might be tempted to think that right here, oh, well, you can't take -2 Snickers. That's going to generate an exception, and the purchase method would generate the exception here, right? But if a customer puts in a wrong number, like on the website or something like that, we don't want to kick them off the website, right? We don't want to stop them from shopping. What we want to do is we want to tell them, you can't do that, but you can continue shopping. All right. So what we're going to do here is instead of passing that exception up, we're going to catch that exception inside of the get product method, And what's going to happen? The get product method is going to display to the customer, hey, you had an error. Now, the program is going to continue so that you can shop some more, right? But we're going to tell you that there was an error. All right. So now we're going to add, oh, you know what? I didn't want -2 Snickers. I wanted 1 Snickers. Right? So now we have 1 Snickers. Right? So what's the total due? Well, Snickers cost 2, and we got 1 of those, and the computer cost 1,000, and we got 2 of those. So we should see a total due of 2002. Now, so what we're going to print is we're going to print total due, and then we're going to concatenate that. We're going to add to the end of that the value that's returned. The total due just returns the value. So we have total due, and then the value that's returned from that method. Okay. Now this is different. The get total due is different from the receipt. The receipt's going to list the items that they got, and then it's going to tell them the total due as well. So the receipt method is going to return whatever comes after the word receipt with a colon here. So the receipt method is going to return something that looks like this. So it's going to tell them you got computer at $1,000, zero, whatever, times 2 of them. So that's 2,000 for that line. You got Snickers. There's 2 of those. You got it cost 2 of them. Cost 2, and you bought 1 of them, so it's 2 total. Your total amount due is 2,002. All right. Now the customer may try to pay less than the amount, I guess. So they're going to try to pay 2,000. Now this will generate an exception. Okay? It gave me an exception because this is how much was due, but they only gave me this much. It gives me a not enough payment exception. Okay? All right. So let's do what we did before. We'll comment out our exception line. We'll make our customer pay a correct amount. And let me go ahead and move the breakpoint down to here also, so that when we run it, we just go straight to that slide. So everything up to this point you've seen before. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to pay $220. Now, the thing that gets returned from this is how much the change should be. Now, we could take that value and we could pass it to the change given method from last semester, or we could do anything with it. But the only thing this method does, the only thing it returns, I should say, is what the change should be. It also does something else. It displays a thank you message. It says thank you for your business, or thank you for coming to our store today, whatever. It just says thank you for something, and your choice. But what it returns is how much change we should give them. Okay. So when we go through this, notice the method, the pay method, displays thank you for your business. It returns this. Okay. All right. Which is what we would expect. 2020 minus 2002 is 18. So now what should get total due display? This should display the total amount that the customer owes our store. How much does our customer owe our store at this point? If you said nothing, then you're right, because they've already paid for their computers and Snickers. They don't need to pay for anything else because they haven't bought anything else. Now they've started over. Okay, so the total due is now 0. We've reset it back to what it was before. Okay, and the receipt. Okay, and this is where you can do what you want to do. The way that I implemented this was, okay, receipt was, I said, okay, list of nothing, with that whole dashed line thing with the total due being 0. Okay. If you want to, if the customer hasn't bought anything yet, if they haven't added anything to their cart yet, if you want to have the receipt method return an empty string, you are free to do that. Okay, that would be perfectly fine. If you want to have them return something like this, like I have, that's fine too. Okay, you just need to make sure that you don't keep the previous thing. The receipt should not display. Should not return this anymore. Okay, it should return empty. All right. Okay, so that's the basic of the examples that I gave you in the assignment description. Uh, since writing that assignment description, I came up with a couple of more things I wanted to go over with you to make sure you understood a couple of other things about this assignment. So let's talk about that now. Okay, so we're going to uncomment my new lines of code here that I've put here. All right, and one of the things that is here, so you know, when we created our club customer up here, this was their phone number, 1234567. Here, I'm going to search for a club customer that I'm going to say, look to the store and get the customer for this phone number. Now, that shouldn't exist. Now, if you read the assignment description, if we don't find the customer that we're looking for in our store using their phone number, then we should get an exception. We should get a customer not found exception. And sure enough, there we go. This number doesn't exist. I typed it in wrong or something, basically. I'm sure that's happened to you before at your favorite grocery store. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, okay, let's do this. All right. So we're going to take that out. So now let's talk through a couple other things here. Now, there's a few different ways that you could do this whole receipt method, as I said before. The way that I have chosen to do this is, so what happens if they say, okay, I want 2 Snickers, and then they realize, oh, I forgot, I wanted to get one for somebody else too, so they get a third one. Okay. Now, sometimes you might see that on your receipt as Snickers 3. Sometimes you might see it show up as different lines. The way that I chose to make the receipt method is like this. Okay, Snickers at 2, that's the first time that they bought some. Snickers at 1, that's the second time. That is a right way. This would work. This will be perfectly acceptable if you do it this way. If your code produces a receipt that says Snickers 2 times 3, 6 here, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So now what we're going to say is, now this customer, this CC customer, if you remember, that's our only club customer we created, right? And then we added them to our store. Now here, if we get that customer, right? S.getCustomer right here, right? That's going to return the same customer, the same CC customer, this 503 guy over here, right? And it's going to assign it to this new variable C3. So that means that now when we go to create this, right, notice that C3 and CC point to the same thing. So now, let's say C3 adds 10 more Snickers cards. They really, really like Snickers, apparently. All right. How many Snickers does that mean are total in their cart? And again, if you said 13 on this, then you would be correct. And so when we print out the receipt for this CC customer, what's going to happen? Okay, we're going to get 2, 1, and 10. And how many Snickers should there be at this point? Well, let's see. Our first customer got 1 of them, and this guy got 13 of them. So there should be 14 fewer than there were before. Yep, there it is, 86. Okay. Now again, if your solution says Snickers 2 times 13 equals 26, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. What this should also tell you is that we actually don't need this variable at all. So if we wanted to be able to access a customer in our store to add to their cart, we could also have done the line like this instead. So here, what this is doing is it's getting our club customer with this phone number, it's taking that customer, it's adding to their cart this product and 10 of them, and so it should do the same thing. I'm going to clear this out so you can see that it'll do the same thing, that when I run this, okay, notice it's the same receipt, right? The same receipt. 2 Snickers, 1 Snickers, 10 Snickers, total due 26. Okay, I hope this helps you in your understanding of what we expect to see from your assignment. And my plan is to also record videos for the slides for the lectures and include some examples in that as well as we move forward with our future topics under this new system. Okay. Good luck. Get to work. If you have questions, make sure you get on those sooner rather than later so that you're not cramming at the very end trying to complete this project with very little time remaining. So get started early, and if you have questions, let us know. All right. Good luck.